Hi, this is Amanda from the Muncie Public Library, and this is Passport to Art. Today we're going to do some weaving with items found in your Passport to Greece kit. You'll find your loom, yarn, popsicle stick, and you'll need to find a pair of scissors. Okay, first thing we're going to do is unravel the white yarn. The white yarn is going to be our warp threads. We're going to wind it around the loom, keeping it nice and taut, and sliding it into the slots at either end of the loom. You don't want it so tight that it bends the loom, but it needs to be kind of taut so that you can properly do the weaving. Then when you're done, go ahead and tie it in a nice loose knot on the back. Next, you're going to choose one of your colored yarns and unwind it from the cardboard and wrap it around the popsicle stick. The popsicle stick will act as a shuttle to help us weave. You'll go under one of the warp threads, over the next one, and so on and so forth, under and over. And then when you get to the other side, you're going to go back the opposite way. So if you went under in the previous pass, you'll go over. If you went over in the previous pass, you'll go under. So go back and forth, make several passes, and then when you get, about four or five rows, you can go ahead and tighten everything up a little bit, get it to the size you want it, and then once you've got it all even, you can tie that blue yarn around the warp thread. Then you're going to take your weaving and you're going to slide it all the way up to the end. We started in the middle so that we can decide how wide we want our weaving to be. If we'd started at the end, it would be really wide at one end and then get really skinny at the other. So this helps it stay more consistent. So push it up there, use your fingers to get it all even and pretty. Then you can just continue weaving rows until you have as much of that color as you wish. Once you've got as much of your first color as you like, you can go ahead and change colors if you choose. Go ahead and tie the end of the new color around the opposite warp thread of where you finished. And then continue weaving in the pattern. The big thing to do here is when you get to that other side of the warp, any tails that you have from the previous color can be woven in just like the warp so they don't stick out. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So you're going to take that colored yarn and line it up with the warp thread and just treat it as though it's part of the warp. And then when you get to the opposite side with the new color, you'll do the same thing. We started on the opposite side with the new color because we don't want the warp thread on the edges to get super bulky. If we had all those tails in one spot, it would get really thick really fast. Continue weaving until you have the pattern that you like, changing colors as you wish. Then when you're finished, you're going to flip the loom over, untie the knot, and then cut the warp threads right across the middle. Remove your weaving from the loom. Now you're going to tie together the warp threads at the ends to keep the weaving from unraveling. Then when you have all three pairs of knots tied, go ahead and trim to make a fringe if you want to use your weaving as a bookmark, or if you'd like to make it into a bracelet, you can braid the ends of the fringe to make a nice strap. Braid 2 strands at a time until it's the length you want. And then when you get to the end, take one strand and wrap it around and tie a knot so that it doesn't come unraveled. Then you're going to flip it around and do the same thing on the opposite end, tying knots to secure the weaving and trimming the fringe or braiding to make the other end of the bracelet strap. Then you're going to trim off the uneven ends of the fringe. And there you have it.